Hey, Fire Demon. Yep, there you go. Okay. I was just trying to play around with some stuff and see if I can get it working. But what I'm gonna be working on today is basically I'm going to design my own coin. So there's a couple of different things that I can do with that. Um, and, but basically it's just going to be just a flattened cylinder, and then a design on top. What I would like to do um, is make this big enough that I can have the design on it the way that I want it to, and then create a basically create a die off of that image. So that's what I'm going to attempt to today, just to see if I can. I should be able to do something like that. So we'll see. We'll play around with it and see what we can come up with. So, hey, Dirty Nichols. Um, so this is the basic design, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna either inset in Qs or create the design so that it's raised from here. Um, I can make this as big as I want, and then when I group it all together and I shrink it back down, then it's gonna retain all of the design elements that I want. So let's just make this ginormous here and see what we can do to. There we go. That should be big enough. Okay, let's play around with this. So there's a couple of different ways to do to get different designs on it. Um, there is hold on a second. There is a couple of programs that I can take a picture and basically grab the outline from it, um, and then import it into here. Um, I could do that, or so this program right now, I'm just gonna use just basic text, um, and then other designs, and then see. That's what I want a picture of me sitting in a chair holding a staff. Well, yeah, if I have the basic outline, then I could absolutely do that. Um, uh, but one of the other things that that I would like to do is that once I have a coin design, that I can print those out, and then basically um, that would be, like your business card. Um, the other thing that I would like to do is I would like to take that design and reverse it and make a die out of it, or something like a stamp, because I can 3D print a stamp piece, and I think that would be kind of really interesting, like the old wax stamps, something like that, only with a coin design. I think that would be kind of interesting. So I thought that I would just play around with some ideas and I don't know, see what happens. And the best part is that we're not limited to anything on this. Like, if there is a design that can be brought in, then you know there is going to be some design elements as far as like the way that the design flows. as far as plateaus and the the edges as it goes down. This is just going to be a rough draft. Um, but one of the other things that I could do is I could take like a half sphere and make it as big as the center section, and then overlay my design over the top, and then basically flatten it, and that will create that will create, instead of just a straight edge on the design, it'll create like a little hill, little incline up to the actual design. But we're just gonna see. I don't like orange. I don't. Let's do blue. All right, we're gonna do blue. I have set the sides all the way up to 64 to make this a circle, because I can drop it down to something like 16 where it's just really rough edges. But I want a circle, so we're gonna go with that. Do that. So as far as we'll say a basic design, we're just gonna put text. And there's a lot of different things that we can do with the text, as far as the height of it. We can make it, you know, basically just different ways. So what I want to do is I want to bring this up so that it's raised above the surface. So there it goes down. So there it's raised above the surface. So if I want this up here, so there is another way to do this. Let me see if I can find it. There's a way to do this. I can do it individual letters around the outside, but I know there is, I don't know where it's at. There's a way to connect this so that it goes around the outside. But something like this, and then I can have a well, let's call it a scribble. Oh, so I can write mud. So there you go, mud. So mud's coin. That's what this is gonna be. So this is obviously super thick, and I don't necessarily have to have it that thick, because I can always inset it. Yeah, I got my 3D printer going. I changed out my filament. I tried drying it out. It wasn't working too well for me. So I put on some other stuff to try to recalibrate some pieces. So right now I'm just 3D printing some brackets for the hold down brackets for the frame, and it's done. Just to see how it's printing out, and to see if the calibrations that that I did worked or not. Let's see. In mud we trust. Just clear it. So let's see. Oh, I suppose I gotta write this. My handwriting is terrible, by the way. Mud. There we go. So in mud we trust. So something like this, I could put this down on the edge. Now, if I wanted to take this sketch and make it a hole, and then drop this down into the coin, then when I combine these two elements, or in this case 3, then what it's going to do is that it's actually going to be inset, just like that. So that's really deep into the coin, so I wouldn't normally have something sit that low inside the coin. So I'll adjust it and see if I can get it back. So this is a little bit better, where it's inset just a little bit. It's your coin bill. This is called Tinkercad, and it's a online program that you can use for free. I really like it because it gives me a lot of options. Oh yeah. Well. Yeah, so I did some calibrations and it seems to be holding up a lot better. I'm still getting a little bit of pits in the walls, but overall it's a very, very good print. So I think some of the calibrations that I did to it last night and early this morning are working very well. So that's good. I'm gonna run another one. So I'm glad that I got everything working back with my printer, that I can have it hooked up to my computer and print directly from there. Okay, so if we wanted to do, I wonder if you could import into. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you could do for a coin. I'm gonna delete this here right quick. All right. Something like that, and then this might be cool. So these are some stars. I like the profile on this one versus it being a straight star. But we can play with this and see if we can get. Let's get the same size on this one. Oh, I'll do that. 14 by 14. So now what I want to do is I want to. Ooh, that is an ugly, ugly star. Four, 3. I think 4 makes it stick up a little bit too much. So let's do 3. 3 seems to be pretty good. The hard part is getting the letters to cover around the edge. Yeah, there's a way to do it. I don't remember it off the top of my head. I don't know. But let's see if I can figure that out. How to wrap that. There's the different characters. I mean, there's all kinds of different things that you can do to, like there's different connectors. So if you wanted to make like a mount for like a camera phone or something like that, then you could do that. Basic shapes. Now there's got to be something. I don't know where it's at right now. Okay, well. letters and numbers. Alright. So we're gonna put some stars on this bad boy. Let's do. So I want some stars to be on the surface. There we go. Once I get it the right distance, then I can go to town on them. So we're gonna kind of make the seated design, I think. And of course, all these I'll have to rotate so that they fit lined up with the edge. So I'm going to put one here and rotate it so it's pointing at the edge. Put one here, rotate it so it's kind of pointing at the edge. Put one here. Rotate it. Put one here. Point it at the edge. Oh yeah, I could rotate this, but I want it to, there's another way to do it so that you can instead of doing the letters individually, that you can just take text and wrap it all the way around. So something like that. I know that's not even, but you know, whatever. So we're gonna make this a little bit smaller. And I'm gonna change it to put that in the middle. Copy this down. Something like that. Something like that. And all of that will be. So I could actually just make these negatives and then have them inset into. I wonder what it would look like. Have them inset into the design. So there it's inset into the design, not by too much, but I could drop that in further. And then these are raised. So if this was an actual coin, then these would get the most wear. But yeah. So think of like your buffalo nickel, the date on the edge. Think of it as these stars right here. That these are that this is a raised section, and that's where it's going to hit the most wear. On the Kennedy half dollars, Kennedy's cheek. Think of it as this raised portion that will get the most wear at first because it's raised higher than the rest of the coin. Okay. Yeah, I don't really like this being incuse into it. I like that being higher. The higher leaf gets wear. That's right. Yep. So then on this, I can do copy this, and we'll do 2018. We'll say. So from here, I can get, let's see. I can drop these down a little bit further. I mean, they don't have to be that tall. It's 5, so maybe 4. There we go. I like that better. So say I wanted to take this design and basically 3D print it, and that would be easy. I would just take this, put it all together, and then export it as a design. Obviously in this size, because this circle is 136 millimeters. That is it's gonna be pretty big. It's gonna be, what is that, 3-4 inches. But if I combine this and then I shrink it down, it's gonna retain the design elements and shrink the design with it. Need 40 millimeter. So let's try that. We're gonna combine all this stuff together, and then we're gonna shrink it down. Ooh, that is just an ugly color. There we go. So I'm gonna do 50 by 50. There we go. And then we can look at this design and see, okay, did that change anything? Well, that changed the height of it. But now with the height of it, I should be able to basically flatten it so that it's only 4 or 5 millimeters, and then that is going to take the rest of the design down, down with it. So if I wanted to take this idea and make like a like a wax stamp, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this design, move it over here, and then I'm gonna use this, and this is gonna be a negative, and then I'm gonna get myself a cylinder. So what's the 50 by 50? So this needs to be a 50 by 50 cylinder. 50 by 50. To go over the top. So I should be able to basically just line these up. Just like that. I'm going to drop this down a little bit. Make this 10. So since that bottom section is a negative and this one is a positive, when I put them together, it's going to cut that design out of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to flip this one over. So now you can see. I didn't take my stars though. Where's the stars at? Oh. No, I should have taken the stars. You can see that the design elements are in Qs and the reverse. So you can think of this as a as a as a as a obverse die. That when this thing stamps down, then it's going to create the obverse design. I have no idea why that did not take the stars design though. I can see him. I can see there's one there. I can see all the points, but I don't know why that it didn't take the whole design down. So let's flip this back over. See if we can figure out what's going on. What do you mean plastic ones? Plastic coins. Yeah, I can print these coins. Oh yeah. Let's try to do this the other way. Cause those should, yeah, it should. You should take the design all the way down. I don't know why it's not right now. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to get this lined up so that I can drop it down into the coin. Let's try that. Maybe, I don't know why we would be doing that though. There we go. Now we got some stars. But for some reason they're just not showing up very deep. Hey Mantic. Wonder if it's that let's see. Yeah, it's just the way that it's. So there it's sinking down. And there I should have a full layout of all of the design. There we go. That's more like it. I just had to make the stars bigger. Okay, so I've got the basic basic design. Then this could be printed off. Obviously flipped over. This can be printed off and then used as a stamp. So if say if I wanted to put like a holder or something on it, um, then I'm just gonna flip this over, and then I'm gonna put another cylinder right here and raise it up. Doesn't have to go super. Doesn't have to be super big either. It can be little. Make it around. Oh, actually, doesn't matter at this one. Let's do 12, 13, 13 by 13. And put that somewhere in the middle. That's not anywhere near the middle. It's terrible. Then I'm going to group this all together. And then there I have a coin stamper. So if you wanted to like one thought would be is that you can take something like this and you can use it for clay. You can use it for wax. You can use it for um, um, in this situation, would even be able to use this as a stamp. If you inked the face of it, then the design would be the absence of ink. So you could use this setup as a stamp as well. So and it's all basically designing the coin itself. Now, if you wanted to use this, what we could do is have a rim on the outside of this design that stands up. Because then if you had a rim all the way around the outside, then you could stamp something like clay, and that will give you a clean edge, versus it being squished out underneath it. You could do that. I like that. I think it's cool. Just have a little stamp. It is off-centered and it's bothering me right here. That this should be over here to offset this, because there's so much more space over here than there is over here. But yeah, so you could do anything like that. You could basically, if you wanted to play with um, dies, like coin dies, then we can basically design a set of dies, and then use that to put like clay, like modeler's clay. Trying to think what else. I mean, there's any like soft material. I mean, you could even do melted wax on it, and then basically stamp it. Then once it's dried, then you would have a wax coin basically. The only thing that would be missing off of this, between the two dies, is just that collar. That collar that goes in there to hold the shape of the coin. That would be the only thing. I'm lagging really bad. It's got to be on YouTube side because I still got green on my side. See if I can close some other stuff. I might be buffering. I got it red red bar, but on my OBS side it's still green, so I don't know what's going on. So let's do the same. We're gonna create big cylinder. Do like 5. I'm gonna make it ginormous. We'll do 100. Because there may be a way, there may be a size that we can use as a standard, that when we break the design down, that it reduces better. So I know there are, with the galvanos, there's a certain ratio. So I don't know what that ratio is. Yeah. Okay, Bill. So with a rough draft design of this one, then I'm gonna see if I can do another design on let's see, stars, 2 stars. So we're gonna use the flat edge stars, so I think I don't know, should I use flat stars, or should I use the beveled stars? Which one do you guys like? See you, Bill. Beveled star. Yeah, I like the design of the beveled star too. I was just thinking for purpose of a design element, that the beveled is going to be a lot better than the flat one. So we're going to do this. So I might have to pull up a seeded library. Seeded library, in case you need one. Seeded libraries all day long. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to copy a design. So let's see. So we're gonna do date. Let me pull it up on my other. Yeah, no. 1864. So we're gonna pull up a date. Yeah. On this one, this is gonna have some issues. But when I put it on the coin and I drop it down, then it's gonna look more like this one over here. Basically, the high points are the letters themselves, and then the top of the top of the star. So unless that got unless like on the edges, obviously those are gonna wear down, but the overall design will wear pretty evenly, I think. So this size, this point's not going to be that high. That's way too high. Let's see. I'm gonna grab. Where's my other? So I need a date. I need a date. I need a date. Now there's different text that they can put in here. None of them of which I like, but it is what it is. So I could take, I could actually take a, if there is a font that I like, I can take it into a program that basically creates an outline of the black and white and creates a trace. Then I could take that trace into an and export it as a graphic into another program, and then create a 3D model out of that. So there, I've done that on a couple of things to create 3D models out of something that's two-dimensional, which I think is super neat. Okay, so it is actually this is actually pretty close to the design. There's going to be a little bit different, but so let's shrink this down to the size that we need, and it needs to be somewhere right in here. And then, so now we've got stars to do. Man, these stars are going to be rough. Okay. So I'm going to put the star. I need to shrink this star down though. The star's too big. Too big, I say. 3 points. This needs to be a 6-pointed star. Okay, 6-pointed star. There we go. Now we're using the right section. So I need to do maybe 10. Yeah, that looks about right. So obviously I need to make this smaller. See, the design on like a seated, there's really barely any any rays on that on those that I've seen. So just enough to make the profile. I'm gonna make these a little bit bigger, just to give it that depth. So now we get to the point where I need to put one here. I'm switching back and forth between windows, looking at a City of Liberty. The one I'm currently looking at is an 1864. So I'm just trying to copy the design as close as possible. These might be too big. I think they're just a little bit too big. So I got 5 more. close are these to the? Yeah, it looks weird on my screen because on the Seated Liberty there's the rim, and then there's all the dentals, and then there's the stars. So on the one I have right now, I do not have a rim, so it's thrown off the design, and these stars are too big. What size are these? These are 10 by 10, so let's make them. What size does that need to be? Let's 8. Maybe 8 by 8. Oops, not what I wanted to do. Change these so that these are smaller. Okay, so I'm gonna do. So I have one, and then this one, and then the cap, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 on this side. So to help me with the spacing, I can actually take another circle and just make it on the inside, and then line up these stars with the edge of that circle, and that would help me as far as spacing, because some of these the spacing isn't exact. So on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 on this side. So this should take me right across from this one. 2, 6, 7. And that is pretty darn close. I will take that. So now the problem would be is just the obverse design with this the shield and everything. But at least it shows just the overall design. Except for that date is too big. So let's take this up. Something like that. There we go. That's much better. So if I wanted to do, I could do like a basic outline and a scribble. I could do. What if I could pull an outline from? Because there's one way that it might be possible by taking a picture of a coin, and then in a photo editing software, basically erasing out the rest of the coin, and then using an algorithm to detect the edge of the seated, and then take that element out. That would be one way to do it. I wonder if there's any drawings of that anywhere. So let's see what I got. Let's see. So this would be the basic design. I'm gonna see if I can find a drawing somewhere. Because there's got to be something that I can use as either a template or just a basic design design element. I mean, we could technically just make one. Which is this one? So there's a picture of a seated Liberty, but it's really gray, and it would be kind of hard to get out the design element. But if there was like a good picture of one of the coins, that we could edit. Let's see. This is not bad. I'm just gonna play with something right quick. Let's see if I can. Which one is this? This one is gonna be. I always forget which one I'm using, because there's a way to do it, to go from one program to the other, but I always get confused on which one that I'm using, because I'm old and I forget things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna import a graphic, and then see if I can, oh geez, that's huge, edit the graphic. Let's see, what do I want to do? I want to zoom for one. See if I can edit this graphic. Edit. There's layers. Bitmap copy. Ooh. Well. So there was I can basically take a take the image and then convert it into a bitmap and then trace the bitmap, and that would give me the whole design. But I don't want the edges. I mean, I guess I could still use the edges, but then just subtract out the outside. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see if I can find something. this just gets a little bit harder. Let's see. Hey Josh. What I'm trying to do is I'm basically I had made a coin, which is the blue one that you see on the top left. And then I created a stamp using that design. What I'm trying to do right now, just for the sake of designing something, um, that I basically am mimicking the design of the seated a seated Liberty coin. Um, I've got the stars in roughly the right areas. So what I was looking to do is take the picture of a seated Liberty and then basically pull out the center design that can be utilized as a three-dimensional graphic onto the center of that coin, or in the center of that cylinder there, to make it look like a coin. That's the general premise of it. Now getting to that point is where it becomes interesting. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to either use an edge detection, ooh, I could do that, edge detect, because there are different levels that I can use to detect the edges on the coin. To give me all of the elements that I need. And that's what I'm attempting to do right now. Let's try that. So I've got a rough, oh, my computer's going slow. I've got a rough design that I'm going to try to import. Export. As a SVG file, or scaled vector graphics file. To basically import it into another program, and based off of the lightness or darkness, I'm going to hopefully create a design from that. So we are going to see if this is going to work. I may have to run it through another program. But we'll see. We'll see what we can do. Oh, you know what I didn't do right? When I did the trace, I did not remove the background, and I need to remove the background, so I just have that design. Okay, so now I've removed the background. I'm going to delete the old one. Then I'm going to use this one. I'm going to export it as an SVG file. And then in here, I'm going to try to import this file and see what it comes up as. I have no idea if this is gonna work, but we'll see what it comes up as. The waiting game. So it's trying to import the file right now. The file's kind of big, so it might take. It's taking a long time. Save all this together. What if I should have scaled that down some? Something like that. It's still struggling with that. So what I'm going to try to do is I'll try to that is really struggling with that. Alright, give me one moment here. I am going to try. Do. 1 second. I lost it. Where did it go? I lost it. I'm trying to do a smaller design. L size smaller. And I'm getting all kinds of lag now. I think I just broke it. Alright. I'm gonna have to call it. I broke this down too much. Okay, so I'll keep working on it, and thanks everybody for coming in. And I will see you guys next time.